Hello there, welcome to the show. Today I'm going to be talking about Argento's Suspiria. I'm going to be following that up with Argento's Inferno. For now I'll avoid Mother of Tears because it's not very good. Before I get started, there's a Depsy Buku, who mispronounced his name, is doing a whole series of Argento films. He started with Birds of Crystal Plumage, he's gone all the way through. At the moment of this recording, he's just done Phenomena. But that's a great series, go see it. I've been enjoying watching it all. Just the great stuff. Go watch some. I'll leave a link to his channel at the on my in the bottom description here. But he's definitely one you should see all the videos. I'm just doing two of the Argento films. They have two kind of supernatural ones. I'll get to the other ones later, but I don't really feel the need to do them just now. So I'll get to them soon. So as you can see, I'm back with the green screen, the backgrounds and things like that. So I hope you enjoy that. It took me a while to get back to this, but now I'm hopefully making it as a feature again. The big thing about Suspiria to start with is Suspiria does not take place in the real world at all. That's the obvious disclaimer, the most obvious disclaimer ever for a film. Suspiria is a fairy story with horror. That's what it is. Now, I've had a chance to see, I've seen this film multiple times over the years. I must have seen it when I was 16, 17 to start with. And that was when you got the tapes that were pan and scan, so you never get the full effect. So you knew it was good, but you never knew how good it was because it was well done, the sequences were great, but they weren't framed right because it was pan and scan, so you're only getting part of the image. And this is a 2:3:5:1 ratio, so the image is stretched all the way, there's bits and pieces of information everywhere, every shot has information. So the pan scan version really butchers it. It's hard to understand what's going on sometimes. I mean, there's I think one sequence where a girl gets killed and goes into like the barbed wire. I don't think I can remember even understand what the hell was going on for half of that until it pulled out a little bit because it was so butchered by the centres plus the pan and scan. It was like, what the hell's going on here? So I saw it there, and then I finally managed to see it properly in widescreen. A friend of mine, Alex Gifford, had it, so I borrowed from him. And then I've been buying it in widescreen ever since. But I would have to see in widescreen. And I just had the pleasure of watching the new Cult Films 4K restoration. And that is beautiful. I mean, that really is gorgeous. You can really see the effect of the film in a way you couldn't before. And unfortunately I'm seeing this version of the film the way it should have always have been because it was so well, the colours schemes are so brilliant. I'm seeing this years after seeing this film multiple times, so there's going to be a lot lost. But it's nice to actually see the way it's supposed to be. But this was remastered. Argento supervised it. They got the colours the way he actually wanted them. So everything's very bright. So I'll do the story and then I'll go back. I'm not going to say much about the story. Basically, a ballet dancer, is going to a ballet school in Germany. When she arrives there, on the first day she arrives in a thunderstorm. She reaches the school, she sees a girl who's running away from the school. Later on that night the girl gets killed along with her friend, and then as the story goes on, this ballet dancer, Susie, this American ballet dancer, she starts to suspect there's a lot more going on in the school than simply ballet, as some murders start to pile up. That's the basic setup of the story. I mean, it does not sound great. I mean, it could be the basis for any cheap horror movie. I mean, there's so many horror movies that have had this kind of idea of, you know, you travel to somewhere that's a bit supernatural and all hell breaks loose. I mean, the film I have linked it to most is The Shining, the Kubrick film The Shining, which again has a family going to a remote location that's haunted. And like The Shining, it's a bit, the style tells you a lot. And the story's very bare bones, but it's the style and the actors and the landscape and what the director does with the landscape, it's what's important. So that's what you've got to understand when you see Suspiria. The plot's just a setup to get from one set piece to the other. it brings it together, it makes you interested in what's going to go on, but it's the bare bones, it's the springboard. What the film is really about is the movement within the frame, the colour schemes, the vibrant colours, the paranoia of this location. It's an old-fashioned build. I mean, most of it takes place in Germany, and all these buildings have all been colour schemed to within an inch of their lives. But it's everything's like very primary colours. You've got reds everywhere. You've got all these other colours that are within. You've blacks and whites in some places. So every location has like one or two colours that dominates, and everything else is pulled back. So you always feel a vibrancy of the colours affecting you. And it creates this mood of dread. It's not a mood of, it's not like black and white photography creating dread. This is like colours, various colours impacting in your eyes. And you're getting the sense through how they vary the colours and vary the movement within the frame that something's wrong. Without doing the boo stuff all the time, it's just the atmosphere creates this thing in a way that's hard to explain because everything's so visual, but it's the colours, it's the way people react, it's the way people move within the frame. It's the old school style mixed with a new approach to colour schemes that creates that vibrancy within the film that creates the dread. So I mean, one of the most famous scenes in the film actually starts early. I mean, the first 20 minutes are amazing. I mean, even part of the publicity campaign is the only thing scarier than the last 90 minutes of this film is the first 20. Or something like that. And because the first 20 minutes are really awesome. They're really beautifully done, because the first you see Jessica Harper playing Susie coming into the airport. Now for most people, someone landing in an airport would not be a sequence. Argento makes it a massive sequence. You see her just travelling through the terminal. See every colour of every passenger is bright. It's almost like a cartoon of colour, but it's just the impressions on her eyes of all these people, and by giving them everyone a different colour scheme, it creates this sense of the way you get when you actually land somewhere you've never been before. Everything seems new and unusual. Is it a bit scary? Is it not? And because you're not used to it yet, and you're still trying to work it out, and it creates that feeling without having to explain anything in dialogue. It's just the way colour schemes everything. It's that paranoia of you're landing somewhere new, you don't know where you are. This place feels scary. And he just does it with colours and shots and moving towards leaving the terminal when it's pouring outside. It's just bucketing down outside. And even when you see terminals, they seem very violent. She's in a cab, she goes to the school. She arrived late and is bucketing down. This girl leaves, says something mysterious, then leaves, and she tries to get in, but the door's locked, which has to go to the hotel. She's not allowed in, but as she comes back to the hotel in the cab, she sees this girl running through the forest, just running slowly. It creates this atmosphere of something's bad here, something's really bad here. And then when you go to that girl, which she ends up going to the room, to the apartment of one of her friends, and that night she gets it. But it's not a simple Jason, Michael Myers stabbing thing. It's much more the atmosphere of the cameras zooming in through a window, and you can sense something's there, but you're not quite sure what's there. But it's just the framing. I mean, this was one of the sequences they also got hurt by pan and scan, because it's the framing of a person within a window, and you see a building outside the window, and the camera's zooming in slowly, and that's what the scare is. And if it's pan and scan, you're just seeing the person in the window, you're not seeing the building, you're not seeing the full threat. And then when she's finally gets attacked, she gets stabbed in the heart. Again, in the pan and scan version, you don't see the threat, you just see someone getting murdered. It feels more gratuitous that way. When you see the full frame, you see it is brutal, but it's showing you the evil of this supernatural being that's in the school, and it's something that has to be dealt with. So by doing it so brutal to start with, the threat's always there, and you don't have to do much more horror to tell you there's a threat. You just know it's there, it's established, that's you. But it's a great shot where she doesn't just get killed, she gets stabbed, then she gets stabbed in the heart, then she falls through a stained glass window down, this rope comes around her neck and hangs her. The rest of the glass falls down onto her friend, who gets impaled in her head and her heart. And the way it's done, you can say, oh, that's really gratuitous. But it's a supernatural feeling, like forces have created this situation to get rid of all the evidence, all the suspicion. They can do whatever they want. The rules do not apply. The rules of law do not apply, and you're in it with the film. It's like, okay, this is a world where this can happen, and it's scary. From there on in, it's scary because you know this could happen. So that's what's great about the film. It really sets it up. So even though I'd seen the film a lot, and so I know what's going to happen, just the craftsmanship of seeing how they set it up, especially if you see it, the 4K restoration, you can really see the craftsmanship and A leads to B leads to C, and everything seems to be much faster paced when with the proper colour scheme, and you're getting the impact of the colours on you, on your eyes, and on what this means. The actual pace and the suspense is increased because you get affected by things like the colours and the paranoia they're creating a lot more than you would when you saw a version of the film that isn't restored. You can see the primary colours, but also in DVD, I always thought the colour scheme seemed very flat in a way. I mean, there is a lot of flat backdrops intentionally, but in the remastered version, you see a lot more depth to the room, so if you see the flat backdrops, it has an effect. In DVD, I always thought everything felt flat, and you never really got the sense of the suspense in the same way as you do in these new Blu-rays. So, I mean, the whole film has that feeling of something's going off, something's wrong. And Argento, even when he's going through the school, you see the school's full of these girls who are bitchy and are awful and they're just gossipy. So Argento does have a sentimental view of girls when they're together. But also within the school, you see a lot of flat backdrops. Either the painted flat backdrops, so it feels very German expressionist, or old Japanese flat style. But also, yeah, but you get depth within the scenes with that, so it creates a sense of these figures moving around and this history behind them. And it makes them feel very small, and it makes their worries feel very small, as if they've dealt with these people before, the supernatural dealt with these people before, so it's not going to be a big problem for them. They're going to get them, they're going to get these little buggers. So, but also when in the ballet sequence, Argento was always moving the camera, people have been floating in and out of the camera, so it always feels there's a movement, and it's beautiful to watch. But there's always a subtle threat to it, but he's not actually having to dig in with the jump scares or anything. It's just the threat of these people moving back and forward within this frame. The way he's cutting, the way he's moving the camera, creates a sense of something's gonna come. But not quite now, but it makes actually, because the way he set up at the beginning, in those murder sequences, he used the camera to move slowly. So we're seeing these movements within the frame later on. It creates suspense without having to create any overt suspense. You just know there's something there. And that this ballet seems tied to this supernatural, and it creates a sense of just having been trapped within the school. No matter what she does, she's going to be trapped. Like, she manages to room with someone to start with, then they poison her with this weird thing, this light that makes her feel ill. So the sequence where she starts to feel ill, the camera movement gets more paranoid as she starts to get ready to faint, and it's going back and forward, and she's like, and you can just sense, right before it was always floating smoothly, then so they actually use it to be like very back and forward. It creates a sense of unease, and it just sets up, again, it sets up the power of this supernatural thing just by a light. That's what causes her to feel ill. And there's other sequences where there's a bit where a lot of maggots from this rotted food fall through the ceiling onto all these girls. there's no real plot reason why it has to be, but it's just to set up the idea of them sitting in the, all sleeping all together in this big room that's all red. There's a figure behind a curtain that we can't see, but you know it's the evil witch, and the evil witch is sleeping right behind them, and it's set up this atmosphere that creates a sense of something's coming, something really bad's coming. But this thing that's really bad is also very patient. And it can play with all these girls and scare them, and it's pretty confident that they'll destroy them. So the Argento would just kill someone early, and then he just sets up for about an hour just to set it up slowly, playing with things. Then eventually he'll kill this guy blind guy who's got a dog. The dog, he sets this whole sequence up in this big yard, all these old buildings, and this lone figure in there. And again, he's set up so well at this point that you know that something bad's coming, so he doesn't have to do any alert until the kill happens. So it's just great craftsmanship. And then later on, when Susie's friend investigates this girl, something else happens. By that point, everything's built up so much that they can simply just have this razor in the frame, and you're waiting for something really bad to happen. So it can be really subtle because he's got the colour schemes making you watch everything, and you can just do these subtle movements of a person running through this. It's always a girl running through this creepy old house. It just works. It's just beautiful. It's a very beautiful film. I mean, the only thing I could say that goes against it is the end's a bit of an anticlimax compared to the rest of the film. The rest of the film is built up so perfectly. Like the end of her just killing the witch feels like, after all this build up, all she should do is stab the witch. It's like, it felt a bit of an anticlimax, but that's just the one thing that's wrong with it. Because the rest of the film, it's only an hour and a half long, or an hour 40, but it feels much shorter because everything's built slow, carefully. Again, the remastered version, it feels a lot faster because you can see the colour schemes leading into the movement of the camera, which leads into the actual story. And everything's working together to create this experience where the plot's just one part of the situation. You've got this great music throughout as well, which creates a sense of doom, and everything's working with each other. So Suspiria is one of those perfect horror movies like Halloween, you know, The Shining. There's just something, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's just something that works with this one. The director, the actors, everyone, the DP, everyone together understood what it was. But most essentially, the director understood what his collaborators were doing and knew how to work with them. Because this is a brilliantly directed film. It's Argento at its peak as a director. So I'm going to stop now, and then I'm going to go into Inferno for the next video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you soon.